part is rationally to think about what are my objectives, what do I want to achieve, and then the other part is a little bit more visceral. What's the story I want to tell? And you kind of, maybe you can imagine it, maybe you can picture how you want your top 10 customers or your top 10 dream customers to think about your firm. So it's in your head, nobody else knows. So how do you start to get there, really?
And if I may give an example, so this one's from Japan, and also a very visionary leader who's built a company from scratch, a company called Fast Retailing, Uniqlo. So Mr. Yanai is, I think he's 76 now. You said earlier, there's a certain age gap when it comes to digital, and but he also said, I want to use digital to do another $10 billion in revenue. So now we're not talking about smaller companies, but I think the example is still highly relevant. I want to do another $10 billion in revenue with that. So initially, a lot of companies came to him and said, here's an idea for a new website. Here's an idea for a new app to help you sell more there. And then we created a joint venture actually to make this happen. We said, it's not about one more channel, it's not about one more place to buy something, but it's about an entire experience. In the first year, 80% of what we did was about the employee experience. So how do we use digital devices to make life in store, to make life in trainings, to make the back office, all of that more seamless. Checking in and out of my schedules, doing training online. So why don't I use this device to allow you to do training? Because if I have better skilled employees in store, they will sell more, they're more successful, they stay longer, they have a different client conversation. How do I give them a real-time view of the inventory so they don't have to phone and ask, is that t-shirt still available in another downtown store and how long will it take to get it here, etc., etc. Obviously we engaged and we also changed the whole front-end experience, but that was maybe 20% of the work. But here's a visionary who said, I want to find a way to use these new technologies, to use analytics and insight, to use new ways of communicating with my employees, with the customer, to really change the way my business works. And so he had that big vision, and then we broke it down into individual chunks, probably a little bit like you had the digital roadmap that you did with BCG. How do I break it down into workable pieces? And now we're doing things like, if anybody's on Facebook Messenger, Uniqlo IQ is a chatbot, which we call conversational commerce. So now we have a fantastic chatbot running on Facebook Messenger, which is a platform that a lot of the fans of Uniqlo are already on, where we get so much insight because you say, can I get red socks? And then it shows you the red socks that you can get. And then you ask other things. And then you ask for female products, you ask for kids products. So they start to understand exactly who I am. So the analytics behind it is amazing. But not just that, we give them now an easy way to order something if they want, but all the way into the warehouse because all of the supply chain is now coming from it. So we're doing demand planning, we're doing understanding what the collection of the future should be looking like, all from one very simple chatbot. So, but the idea, the way that it started was behind, right? So don't go out there and say, I'm going to do a chatbot to do something gimmicky, just to have one more way to people say, oh great, so-and-so company has now a chatbot, and then 2 weeks later, nobody looks at it anymore. Don't feel the urge to create an app if your brand is not relevant enough to be, we say, if you're not on page 1 or 2 of my screen, you're probably not highly relevant to me. So if you're not there, use other channels. Find the ways to make it seamless for consumers to engage. Don't be afraid of partnering and sharing data also with others to drive those conversations, right? In today's world, it's easier to reach people, but it makes more fun and it's better if it's part of an ecosystem in many cases.